So whether you're a current investor, we're relying on work.
Okay. Thank you so much. Welcome. My name is Ruben Austria. I'm a consultant with Investor Lifeline. I'm sitting here with Rafael Islam, of private money specialist, direct lender, mortgage broker, commercial funder extraordinaire. How are you, Rafael? What's going on?
Good, Ruben. How about yourself?
I'm grinding just like you, and we're making it happen, right?
Yeah.
Why are we here, Rafael? What are we going to be doing in the next 15 minutes or so?
Well, we're doing this course for investors that are looking to buy commercial or residential properties as rentals, ground up construction, just any type of investment property, whatever your strategy is. We're trying to make sure that your deals, your investment is successful and save you all the brain damage that goes into every deal that you won't see on TikTok or Instagram or whatever social media feed there is. There's a lot of things to look for, and we're going to touch on everything, whether it be the lending aspect of it, when you actually purchase the property, how to fix it, how to flip it, what to do when it comes to renting. We're going to teach you about also the other things that you would never think of, like if the property has issues such as foundation or water damage because you bought the property sight unseen, you didn't get the inspection done. So we're here to make sure your investment is actually an investment and isn't a money pit. We're to make sure we help you create your wealth and guide you through the process so it's as seamless as possibly it can be.
Absolutely. There's so much content out there that makes it seem as if this is an easy, painless process. But for the most part, that's just too good to be true. So I think by building out this content in a course, it's going to really allow us to, not only provide great content from based off our experience, but at the same time, make sure that investors have all the information they need. Today's topic is how to get your deal funded. 3 key items that are needed in order to get deals funded. And specifically, as you mentioned, this is for bridge, fix and flip, ground up construction. Any other type of deals out there, Rafael, that you want to mention?
There's a plethora, but I want to take home something simple. We're going to be focusing on short-term loans, which is going to be 12 to 36 months. Today, we're going to be discussing those 3 loan types, which is just a bridge, fix and flip, and ground up construction.
Okay, perfect. All right, so let's do this. Let's go into our first segment and talk about why it's important in terms of how to get deals funded. Deal details. Ralph,
yeah.
Tell me why it's so important to have all the details up front in order to get your deal funded.
There's so many. And when we say details, what do we want to know? We want to know the property address. We want to know what the purchase price is. We want to know how much you're putting down. And if this is a renovation or even a ground up construction project, we want a detailed construction budget. A detailed construction budget. We want to know your experience level. We want to know ballpark what your estimated credit score is and how liquid you are.
Why, as simple as that might sound, providing the correct details, the deal details, what is it that you often get that doesn't necessarily help the investor get the deal funded? What is it? What kind of information are we talking about here?
There can be so many things. Just this week alone, I've received a client is doing a giant ground up construction deal in San Diego, and the lender, the mortgage broker that brought the deal over, was, he's a big operator of Airbnbs in San Diego, and he can do this, and this, and this is a great project. So when they talk how great the deal is, it's less likely that it's actually a great deal because we want to know exactly the specifics. And when it comes to a ground up construction deal or a renovation deal, we definitely want to know the loan to cost and the after repair value and what you're getting the property for, because that's going to help us make a decision on, hey, is this a fundable deal? Because at the end of the day, we want to fund so you can make your profit. we wouldn't fund a deal where you're going to be upside down in a deal and you actually lose money.
I think what I was hoping you would allude to is that they provide the business plan along
Oh,
with great pictures of the project, along with maybe even a video or a social media post,
yeah.
with a lot of
All
likes.
everything but the particulars, what we'd want to know.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. I think it's actually a lot easier to talk about the stuff that we need than the stuff that we don't need. So it's a great point. I
Yeah.
also think maybe it's just like that, all that information, maybe they're being taught the wrong way, and they're feeling like they have to show their knowledge about the deal in order to make it look better or appear more fundable. I feel like part of that is of why we see so much of the quote unquote fluff that comes through. Correct?
Yeah, it could be from social media. It could be courses or classes, supposed real estate investors or flippers or real estate agents are selling, or Facebook groups and whatever they see. When you see something on Instagram or TikTok, and especially Facebook groups, I see it heavily in them, especially in the investing ones, about can anyone fund a deal in, I'll just use Los Angeles, California. And you'll have 50 comments saying, I can do that all day. I can do this. I can do that. I can get that loan at 8%. And it's odd to me because the post just said, hey, can anyone fund a deal in Los Angeles, California? They didn't say anything about the fact what kind of property is it commercial, is it residential, is it or just bare land? They have no idea or no details of what's happening on that. Are they buying a house? Are they buying a 30-unit commercial building? Like it baffles me how someone says I can fund those all day.
Right.
Please be wary of the guy that always says I can fund that all day from just a post that says, can anyone fund a deal in Los Angeles, California?
Super
That
funny.
blows my mind.
It's super funny. Yeah. No, that's great. Okay. Well, perfect. Provide all the details that you need. Don't provide anything that we don't, or
Yeah,
maybe
we
not
don't care for the
necessarily.
fluff. We know we didn't just start our lending business. We've been in business for quite some time. We know the areas we lend in. So the fluff that you see, be careful. But also, if you're just a newbie investor and you just don't know, call any lender, any real estate professional, and they can walk you through it. And if they can't, call us, and you can do basic research yourself. If you're buying any type of renovation or ground up deal, and you're trying to get an idea of what the value can be, jump on Redfin, jump on Zillow, look at properties that were recently renovated to get an idea. Hey, what can possibly be the price if I buy a house in this neighborhood and I do these upgrades? What can I sell it for?
Understood. Awesome. All right. Well, the deal details, certainly that's just the first part of getting your deal funded. The next part of getting your deal funded is really having the experience or the amount of completed deals. So let's elaborate on this a little bit, Raphael. What does it mean when you're talking about completed deals and experience needed?
Experience is very, very simple. How many properties have you flipped in the last 2 to 3 years? And how many properties do you currently own? We do not care if you flipped 10 or 15 years ago. We don't care if your partners flipped 30 homes and this is your first time flipping. If you're a general contractor, if you're a realtor, none of that counts as experience. We want to know how many properties you have flipped and how many doors you own. And that's the only thing we want to know. Nothing else.
Great. So along with that, obviously you have to identify what properties were flipped or even built, right? Because we're talking about ground up construction.
Yeah, built or
as well.
flipped.
As well.
That was done in the last, say, 36 months to keep things simple. In the last 3 years.
Right.
I've gotten loan requests from people. I've been flipping for 30 years. That's great. How many of you flipped in the last 3 years? I've been flipping for 30 years and I just haven't flipped in the last 10 years. So you haven't been flipping. Okay. And that's what we want to know. We want to know straight to the point, because we want to know if we can help you or not.
So a continuation of this experience point is that we also would want to know a little bit more about those completed deals, correct? So what would you want to know about those completed deals, Raphael, other than the type of investment that was created or made?
Yeah, we would want to know if it was a light renovation, a medium renovation, or a heavy renovation. And I know I'm using that lightly. What does light mean, medium, or heavy? So if you're buying a property and you're just doing a light renovation, that could be simply repainting the property, interior and exterior, and I'm putting brand new flooring. And I may redo some of the bathrooms and the kitchen. It's pretty light. You're not adding square footage. You're not gutting the property. It's very simple. It's that kind of flip should take you, honestly, you can complete it in weeks to a month at the most,
Right.
because it's not extensive.
Mm-hmm.
And then a medium one, it could be where you're gutting some of the rooms and you're rearranging some of the walls, and you're going to need permits, and you have to account for that because every city is different. So wherever building safety is, you need to get an idea how long it's going to take for you to get a permit to do whatever it is you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And a heavy rehab essentially could be a straight gut job. You're buying the property, you're gutting the entire property to studs, and you're renovating it from there. And
Right.
that's a heavy rehab. So we definitely want to know the differences of all those types of rehabs.
Absolutely. Do you actually use the equation, more than 50% of the acquisition price of the property to be a heavy rehab? For instance, if you're buying $100,000 property, putting in 75,000, that's 75% of the acquisition. Typically, we use that number as,
It really depends on the market. It really
Yeah.
depends on the market. Like if you're in Los Angeles, like I live in San Fernando Valley, you're not gonna buy a house for $100,000 in San Fernando Valley. It's just not happening.
For sure. For sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it absolutely depends on the market. And that extra information as far as budgets is really kind of goes a long way to determine what kind of experience the investor has in doing these deals. So it's really important. That's great. Anything else you want to say about completed deals and experience, Raphael, before we get to the third item?
Yeah, if you're a brand new flipper and you're having a hard time getting financing, or you want to start a flip, it's possible to get your deal funded if you add a more experienced investor in your deal. Yes, you may have to give us some equity, but you're getting your deal done, and that's better than zero.
Absolutely. Yeah, that gets more into like creative ways.
Yeah, that can be a whole different thing, but for the most part, like those are some of the take homes.
Well, hey, last but not least, so first we talked about providing the correct amount of details about the deal and not providing information that doesn't necessarily qualify the deal. The second is the amount of experience that the investor's already done in the past 3 years, along with the budget, budget associated with the project. Now, the third, and maybe most straightforward criteria and requirement is essentially the amount of liquidity and the amount of cash. Cold hard cash, Raphael. Please let's talk about why liquidity is important when it comes to getting deals funded.
When it comes to liquidity, the only reason why this matters is we're basing this whole deal on the equity of the deal and how much money you're bringing to the table. That's it. We will look at your credit history, not so much your credit score, to make sure that you make your payments on time. And this is all driven by equity and how much cash you have, which is going to essentially bring us to our loan to value, our risk tolerance. And that's what we want to know. We want to know how much cash you have in your bank account. It's a very straightforward question, and we like a simple answer. When we see investors stutter and they keep saying, "Oh, but one of my accounts, I don't have all my money in one account. I have a spread of 5." We don't care. We want to know how much money you have in your bank account the day you are asking to borrow whatever dollar amount you are.
Perfect. Perfect. This topic is a little bit funny to me because I think a lot of the reasons why we're starting to create this content and these videos is because there's so much falsehoods when it comes to content talking about getting deals done. 100%, even 95% or 90%, right? You know, anything above 90% is seemingly unrealistic these days. Um, why do you feel, just to kind of embellish upon the fact on this point a little bit more, why do you feel like this seemingly obvious criteria isn't so obvious to many investors who are trying to get deals done?
Bad information on the internet, Facebook groups, TikTok, Instagram, whatever YouTube channel that exists about this type of stuff. And it could be house hacking. There's a lot of bad information out there. And if you see who's giving that information, they're usually not real estate professionals, and they may claim to own doors, have flipped, and they've done it this way. And there's no way to verify that validity. But being a lender, is 100% financing possible? Yes, it is, but not for everybody. And I can go in, yeah, you can buy properties subject to, and if the seller's willing to finance, that's one way to do it. It could be the fact that you own 3 to 5 real estate properties, whether it's commercial or residential, and it's worth $8 million, and you're buying $1 million property, and you let us cross collateralize all those properties. Our risk is very minimal, because if you want to borrow $1 million, but you're putting $8 million worth of collateral, yes, you get 100% financing. And I've done such deals where, you know, the clients only paid closing costs, the loan costs, and things of that nature. But again, it was very low LTV, and they crossed properties. So they had skin in the game. You can't just become a brand new flipper, buy a property, and I want 100% financing. You have no track record. And for whatever reason, if you're doing a flip, because I've seen this constantly on fix and flips and renovation loans, they're trying to get into 100% financing, don't have a dollar to pay for closing costs. And how will you make your monthly payments? What happens when your general contractor or handyman says, hey, labor's gone up? Costs for material have gone up, just like it did in COVID.
Right.
And a lot of people's flips got smashed. Their profit margin got eaten into, and some of them went into foreclosure. Some did not make the deals went south.
100%. 100%. Yeah. So you make some great points. I think the reason why people think liquidity is not important and 100% financing is real is because they want to believe it's real. And in certain cases where people are creative and they have a lot of these other things going for them, yes, these options are available, but it's like the fine print that nobody puts into their video, right?
Yeah.
It's like the fine print that should exist as a disclaimer. Like, these are not the results that are typical,
and
for any investor. So
I've seen this video from multiple times. My friends sending me TikToks because they know I'm a mortgage broker and private money lender. They ask me, hey, is this true? And everyone uses this house hack, and I'm using air quotes because they say they can buy a house with 3.5% down, buying any house. And is that true? Yes, you can buy a house. This isn't a house hack. If the property, you're buying any property, you can get a loan that's called an FHA loan. That's for first-time home buyers to come in with lower down payments, lower credit scores, higher debt-to-income ratios, so they can have home ownership. And that's meant for properties that you will live in, not investment properties. And I've seen that masked all over the internet. And if you ask any mortgage broker or bank, you can go to Chase right now or Bank of America and get an FHA loan. That it's nothing special. It always existed. And they will verify your credit, your income, and your assets.
Right. Assets. There's the big liquidity factor.
Yeah.
So that's perfect. Yeah, no, thank you so much, Rafael. So just to recap, we went over the three important criteria in getting your deal funded. Deal details. Make sure you have all the details that readily available when your lender asks for them. Two, make sure to be able to provide information about your schedule of real estate owned, SREO, or their completed deals that you've done at the very least in the past 3 years. And three, liquidity, cash, the amount of that money you have available to certainly, I guess, invest in this deal and make sure the deal is successful. So, Ralph, in the weeks to come, what are some other topics that we're going to be recording and making available for the commercial real estate financing course?
We're going to hit a lot of different subject matter, and we're going to continue to keep making content regarding this. But next session is going to be talking about, once your deal is funded, the do's and don'ts and what you can expect from your investment. And the reason why we want to make that video is we want to make sure that once you have your investment, that you actually can flip it, you can rent it out, you will get that profit you're looking for to create that wealth. And we'll talk about the pitfalls and real life examples. We're not going to disclose the client's names or information, but we'll tell you the location, things of that nature, of the people that were successful and the people that weren't so successful. And we want to tell you the reasons why they were successful and not, and to make sure that you don't make those same mistakes. Because the biggest take home, why we're making this information, is we want you to get you into your investment, and we want to make sure that it becomes successful. Because not all investment properties and investments are successful. And in the real estate space, if you buy at the wrong price and you don't sell your property in time because you didn't have the right realtor and lender pre-qualifying your clients, like there's a lot of things that go into it that you won't see in a TikTok short or an Instagram short or some reel. You need to speak to a lender that's funded enough deals, not how many years you've been in the business. No one cares you've been in the business for 15 years. How many deals have you funded? And you will know when they speak to you and when you speak to them, because they're going to go straight for the pain points that you may already have or you should know about. And that's why you're watching this right now and listening to us, because I am that lender. I am that mortgage broker.
Absolutely. I think it says a lot about you and what the content we're creating when you say that, hey, just getting the loan for your deal, whether it's acquiring the property that needs to be flipped or acquiring the piece of land that you need to build something on. Just getting that loan doesn't mean just getting funded for that loan doesn't necessarily mean you should have a successful project. You just started the process.
That's a jump off point. You have to now, hypothetically, if it's renovation or ground up construction, did you take into consideration the permitting process? Say if you're adding square footage, or remember, depending on what city you're in, if you're dealing with plumbing or electrical, 9 out of 10 times, you will need to get a permit. So if you're doing any bathroom renovation, any kitchen renovation, that's plumbing and that's electrical. The city might take, 2 weeks or 4 months?
For sure.
Did you put those figures into your overall profit? And as this progresses, we will have downloadables for essentially for you guys that input your deal to see, hey, does this make sense? Also gives you an idea what you can use. And we're also going to have downloadables so you can kind of how to present deals. And one thing I do want to tell people, hey, if you're presenting a deal, make a data folder. Use Dropbox, use G Drive, use a saved folder on your desktop, your laptop, whatever you're using. So when you have a deal, you send that lender everything all in one time. They'll have your experience, your assets, and the deal details, and you'll know right then and there if it's gonna be remotely possible versus going to 7 different lenders, getting yeses and nos, ordering appraisals, which cost money. And you don't want to order 3 or 4 appraisals and have your earnest money deposit at risk. And hey, your deal's not happening. But that's the things we want to go through once your deal is funded.
Absolutely. Well, hey, no, that's great. There's a lot of info packed for that's a lot of information for next week's video. So thank you so much for watching this part of the course. Really appreciate you supporting what we're doing to help investors be successful. Ralph, is there anything else you want to mention before we finish the video?
No, your feedback is actually, yes, your feedback is greatly appreciated. If there's something that you want to know, reach out to us, email us, leave us comments. And if any information that you would want to know about, again, same thing, let us know so we can give you the information you're looking for. And if you need help with any part of a loan, from finding an appraiser, a realtor, a lender, let us know.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Really appreciate your support. Like, subscribe. Let's make it happen.